Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? So the Saints, of course, are in the market for a new coach and quite possibly in the market for a new quarterback. Well, Cam Jordan, a media savant he is, Saints captain, is also, as we mentioned, very good at media, was on Get Up today, and the conversation about Aaron Rodgers circled around. And we have talked about Aaron Rodgers. My contention is that the Saints, without Sean Payton, clearly are not nearly as attractive a destination for the premier quarterbacks, for Rodgers, for Russ, for Deshaun Watson. If Sean Payton were here, yes, much more realistic. Not so much without him. But Cam Jordan on Get Up decided to go ahead and make his pitch anyway. Here you go.
So, Cam, what's your pitch to Aaron Rodgers to come to New Orleans knowing we don't even know who the head coach is?
I mean, I've heard he had some rifts with his last head coach, so I'm just saying, maybe come pick one out. At this point, it might be tailor-made for you.
Full control, Cam. You just let him come in here and just run it.
Yeah, between, like I said, then he gets with Mrs. B, Gail Benson. He gets with, Mickey. I'm not sure what kind of, access top-tier quarterbacks get. I'm a defensive end. I just worry about hitting the next quarterback. But, quarterbacks usually have a little bit more executive say than so said defensive players. So I'm just saying, this could probably help us out in the long run.
So Cam Jordan's at least putting it out there in the universe, and I do respect it. He did quote tweet that video from ESPN's Get Up and said, I don't know the future head coach, but this is my current pitch. We'll update as needed. So I get it. If you're Cam Jordan, I mean, you obviously can't go infringe on any of these conversations, but, man, you want to have a conversation with a guy in the NFL? You want to talk to a potential free agent quarterback? By all means, if you can lure him here, I know some people might argue that's collusion, which you see in the NBA at times, but my goodness, if you can make it work, make it work. I think one of the big questions, obviously, is how attractive is New Orleans for a quarterback without Sean Payton? But also when you look at the jobs being filled and what's open. So Denver has now been filled by Nathaniel Hackett. Denver hired Nathaniel Hackett, who's the Green Bay offensive coordinator, who has a really good relationship with Aaron Rodgers. Most people were already assuming that that's where Aaron would end up, was in Denver. You take another step now when they've hired Nathaniel Hackett, and that division, can you imagine if Aaron Rodgers ends up in that division? Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers. That would be absolutely insane. Sort of reminiscent of when Matt Ryan and Cam had won MVPs, and then you throw on top of it Jameis, who was the number one overall pick, and Drew Brees, who's a Hall of Famer. The NFC South at one point was that division, and it's looking like the AFC West now, especially if Rodgers ends up in that division. But Denver's been filled. It looks like Matt Eberflus is the Colts DC is going to get the head coaching job in Chicago, as is being reported. So the jobs that remain open are New Orleans, Jacksonville, Minnesota, Miami, the Giants, Houston, and the Raiders. Well, Jacksonville's got their quarterback. Minnesota's got their quarterback. Miami presumably has their quarterback with Tua. The Giants, will see what they do with Daniel Jones. Houston, who knows what really is going to happen there with Deshaun Watson. But if they trade him, they're looking for a new quarterback, and the Raiders have Carr. So really, New Orleans and the Giants, I guess, are, depending on what they do with Daniel Jones. But New Orleans is the one that really is in a situation where you have a free agent scenario, where you have no starting quarterback. You have no incumbent under contract that is your guy. So it's the most wide open if Aaron Rodgers wants to walk through that door. The one scenario that we haven't talked about here that would be interesting is if possibly, because I know there's been this idea of we'll go hire Brian Flores and Deshaun Watson will come with Brian Flores. There is this idea that Eric Bieniemy has a relationship with Deshaun Watson, and Bieniemy and Watson could work together. That would be, to me anyway, very appealing. If you could get a deal done with Eric Bieniemy and trade for Deshaun Watson, you'd have to give up a boatload. I mean, we talked about what it took the Rams to get Matt Stafford last year. I mean, you're talking about a handful of picks, including multiple ones and a starting caliber player. That's for Matt Stafford. This is Deshaun Watson in his prime, provided everything's behind him. I know the conversation started about Aaron Rodgers, and maybe I'm short-sighted, but I'm just kind of punting that idea. That to me doesn't seem like a realistic possibility. I don't know that Green Bay is willing to move on from Aaron Rodgers, number one. The other part of that, too, is, do the Saints have enough assets even to trade for Aaron Rodgers if he wanted to be in New Orleans? I think all of those things check. I don't think the Saints could put together the most attractive package. Their head coach situation isn't what it was. I don't know how they get that deal done for Rodgers. So you start looking at other possibilities. I'll maintain continuously that Jameis is the most likely scenario. In the same way that Dennis Allen is the head coach is the most likely scenario, Jameis is the most likely scenario at quarterback for the Saints next year as well. And that can work. That can work. But the things to keep an eye on with respect to Rodgers is what's happening in Green Bay. Because ESPN ranked the top free agents in the NFL this offseason, the top 50 free agents. Number one on the list is Devontae Adams. And two other Green Bay receivers are also on this list, in Valdez-Scantling and Lazard. You could also throw in their tight end. I mean, they've got a whole bunch that they probably won't be able to retain everyone. Now you look at the Saints, Teron Armstead, Marcus Williams, they have ranked as 2 and 7 on this list overall. So the Saints have 2 in the top 10 that are free agents. You throw on there Jameis Winston as well as a free agent. I mean, you've got some decisions that you have to make this year. I mean, every year you do in the offseason. But specifically as it pertains to quarterback and how this roster builds to make it appealing for a quarterback, I don't know how that works. I just, unless if you bring in a new head coach that has a direct connection that would appeal to that quarterback, like Denver just did with Nathaniel Hackett, I don't know how you lure now a premier quarterback without Sean Payton. So it's very likely you go into you do your deal with Jameis Winston and you move forward there in the best manner possible. And I'd be okay with that if that's the route they decide to go. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.